Avatar: The Last Airbender either needed a longer third season or another season entirely. There was more than enough content for them to get another season from it, but unfortunately, some of it became comic material that most fans won't read or even know exists, or wasn't focused on in any form of media. More character moments should have happened. Suki should have had more time as a part of the gang, and the series acknowledges that Zuko and Toph needed time to actually hang out, because he got time to develop with other characters. And unfortunately, that results in these two having the weakest dynamic out of everybody in the main cast. There was also the whole character struggle of Aang trying to find a way to defeat Ozai without putting him down, as well as the lion turtle, which had such a jarring introduction into the series, feeling like a deus ex machina. There was room to flesh out all of that, or to have a season after the battle, showing Zuko reuniting with his mom and struggling with adjusting to being the Fire Lord. I know that there are comics that did stuff with this, but like I said in my Naruto video, supplemental material done in a different form of media should not be mandatory to fully enjoy the main story. If we got an expanded season 3, we also could have gotten the origin of the Avatar in the original run of the series as opposed to pushing it off until Korra. And in an ideal world, there would be no spirit kites. Here's my pitch for how this could work. Aang doesn't get his vegan-friendly options to stopping Ozai, which lead him to digging deeper through the Avatar state, which will eventually lead him to Avatar Wan. Aang would witness the origins of bending, as well as the rest of Wan's adventures and seeing how he overcame the stuff in his time, which could lead to an event where Wan has to take away somebody's bending. But he would then fail, which would open up a failsafe where he starts to reincarnate as the Avatar spirit, or where a part of him is stored inside of it. It would also show that the base of bending isn't lion turtles giving it to them, but it gives them spirit bending, and then following the disciplines of the creatures that knew how to bend, Wan was able to master all 4 elements. And then there would be an explanation as to why humans can't spirit bend anymore, something like the people aren't as spiritually in tune like they once were. But Aang, being a monk, would be more spiritually in tune than other people. Then after we get the origin story of the Avatar state, Aang gets a bit of guidance from the lion turtle he is currently on the back of. That's where it's revealed that Aang theoretically could spirit bend, but due to his fractured Avatar state, he can't do it right now. That's when he resolves himself to go deal with Ozai, and then everything is the same from then on. This is just my idea of what could happen, because if I'm going to point out a problem, I'd like to also start giving a solution to what the problem was. So hopefully that was at least presentable. But yeah, something along those lines would probably sit better with a lot of people, because then the lion turtle isn't just giving Aang his vegan option to ending the conflict, and it'd be tied into important lore for the story, as opposed to it just feeling like a random deus ex machina without any lore impact. Something else we could have gotten is the White Lotus versus the gang, like sparring between masters and students. I'd want this mainly to benchmark where Team Avatar stands, and how much growth they've had since their time under their mentors, as well as it giving a cool spectacle for us to see. We could also get a Toph and Boomy fight right here, the match between the strongest earthbenders in the story, one who hasn't reached their prime yet and the other who's been long out of it, and yet both of them are insanely skilled at it. Something else another season could have done is given us more time with Suki as a part of Team Avatar. She's a great character in the story, and I wish we got more time with her as a part of the main cast. She periodically popped into the story several times after her initial appearance on Kyoshi Island in Season 1, like when Team Avatar was going to Ba Sing Se, or episodes like Appa's Lost Days. But there was definitely more room for her to do stuff in the story. And what I'd want from these hypothetical extra episodes is to see Suki interacting with the main cast more, getting more development on those relationships. Specifically Toph and Zuko. There's definitely room for something with Katara too, since she's dating her brother, but I see more fun interactions happening with the other two. And I exclude Sokka because this team cannot write romance for shit. And the less of it there is, the better the characters are for it. I feel like Toph and Suki would have a chat about fighting, because Suki's combat style is like a blend of Toph and Aang's. Because while she's light on her feet like Aang, she's also one to stand her ground and fight aggressively like Toph. Which makes sense because Suki's fighting style is modeled after Kyoshi's fighting style, and it makes sense for that fighting style to be more rooted in earthbending principles because Kyoshi was the Earth Avatar. And then there's any interactions that she could have with Zuko, because anybody on the main cast interactions with Zuko always end up with character development. And we love character development over here. There would also be him trying to make amends for what he did on Kyoshi Island where he attacked it in season 1. As well as them both being used to being in leadership positions. Zuko led his ship when he was a part of the Fire Nation's army, and he's on his way to go be Fire Lord now. Whereas Suki was a leader of the Kyoshi warriors, so that's something that they could bond over. I could also see a season 4 Book of Air tying up all the loose ends, adapting what eventually became comics or some of the info we got in Korra relating to the gang and filling in info that we didn't get at all. But the main thing that I would want is to see Zuko's journey to finding his mom and the potential Azula redemption. I'd like it if it was a different story than the comics, primarily to make it fit better with the combat and dialogue for an animated and voiced medium, because Aang and Katara's dialogue is awful in the comics. All that deer and honey shit is super annoying to me. I'm hoping Avatar has a strong comeback alongside the other shows getting revived, especially with the project coming out next year. I'm interested in your thoughts on the matter, so please leave a comment if you have anything to say. Subscribe, have a nice day, and I'll catch you in the next video.